I invite you to connect with the voices of the Bible. Today, we're listening to one of the oldest and most familiar stories in all of Scripture, the story of Noah, the ark, and the flood in the book of Genesis. Most of us met this story as children, painted on nursery walls with smiling giraffes and a bright rainbow. But Genesis tells it as something far more serious and far more hopeful than a nursery decoration. Let me set the scene. Genesis is the first book of the Bible, the book of beginnings. By chapter 6, the good world God made has gone badly wrong. The text says the earth was filled with violence. Into that ruin, God speaks to one man named Noah. Listen to what God says. The end has come for all creatures, since they have filled the earth with violence. I am now about to destroy them along with the earth, so make a wooden ark. Then come the specifications, the length and width and height, the rooms, the door, the decks. It reads like a set of blueprints because that's exactly what it is. Now, notice something easy to miss. Right in the middle of the warning, God makes a promise. I will set up my covenant with you. Before Noah builds anything, before the first rain falls, God binds himself to Noah. The building is not how Noah earns God's favor. The building is Noah's response to a promise already made. And Noah responds. Genesis says it plainly. Noah did everything exactly as God commanded him. One verse. No speeches, no bargaining, no delay. Picture the years this took. Gathering the wood, shaping the hole, enduring neighbors who thought he had lost his mind. Day after ordinary day of doing what God asked with no rain in sight. This is what faithful presence looks like. Not a single dramatic moment, but a long obedience in the same direction. Then the flood comes. The waters rise, and Noah and his family and the animals are shut inside for a long, dark stretch. And here's the turning point of the whole story in chapter 8. God remembered Noah. In the Bible, when God remembers, God acts. The wind blows, the waters recede. The God who made the promise keeps the promise. When it's over, God does something tender. God hangs a bow in the clouds. We call it a rainbow, but listen to why God gives it. When I bring clouds over the earth and a bow appears in the clouds, I will remember the covenant between me and you and every living being. The rainbow is not mainly a sign for us to look up and feel better. It's a sign God gives to God's own self, a reminder that God has promised floodwaters will never again destroy all creatures. The keeping of the promise rests on God's memory, not on ours. So what does this ancient story say to us? At least two things. First, God shows up before we do. The whole story runs on grace that comes first. Noah is approved, promised to, and remembered before he has proven anything. God does not wait for us to earn a place. God makes the covenant and then invites us to live inside it. Second, our part is to show up in response. Noah's faithfulness wasn't flashy, it was steady, showing up to the work God gave over and over, trusting a promise he couldn't yet see fulfilled. Most of the Christian life is lived in exactly that key, showing up to worship, showing up to pray, showing up for the people God has given us on the ordinary days when nothing seems to be happening. So the next time you see a rainbow, remember what it really means. It's God saying, I remember, I keep my word, and let it move you not only to feel comforted, but to show up, to live as one held inside a covenant. God will never forget. Thanks for connecting with the voices of the Bible.